Hey, hey, hey. Oh, let me turn my mic on. Just realized I don't have my mic on. Okay, I'm back. I think my mic is on now. How are you guys doing? Happy Thursday. So, a lot of news today about the metaverse. So, I want to talk about it. I have been listening to Mr. Zuckerberg talking about the metaverse and kind of what it is. We've known about it. We've known about artificial intelligence, augmented reality, all these little pieces to the puzzle that makes up our metaverse. But we'll talk about that and what I think in terms of what type of opportunities are going to be available, how people are now going to make money. I see a lot of opportunity for folks that are creators or designers and things to make a lot of money with this whole metaverse creation. So we'll talk about that. But then I also want to discuss what I initially wanted to talk about today, which is more thinking about some high paying jobs that we don't always think of. Like I talk a lot about tech. We know medicine is an industry where you can make a good income, but I wanted to talk about something that you may not think about, or sometimes people just pass over and don't realize that you can make money with some things that you don't even have to go to get a college degree for. So that's what I want to talk about. And then of course I have to talk we have to, this is just going to be a discussion. We have to talk about the metaverse and what that means for the future. Hey, brother, how are you? I'm working, but I'm providing quiet support in the background. Well, I appreciate the support. Thank you. And I'm going to pull up YouTube just so I can, okay, I'm good. Okay. So let me just check something else before I dig in. All right. Okay, I'm good. So thank you, brother. I appreciate I appreciate the support. I am not on StreamYard, so let me pull up StreamYard too, just so I can see what's going on. Turn my volume down so I'm not echoing or anything like that. I don't know if it's going to show me twice. Okay, cool. I'm good. All right. So let me start with the jobs and then let's get into the metaverse. I am going to pull up this sheet that I am referencing for myself. Some things that I didn't really realize you can make a decent amount. So I'm going to start with the lowest and then work my way up to jobs that are over 100,000. The other ones I have, median annual wage in the United States, are going to be above 80,000. So that's what I'm sticking to. And again, I'm avoiding medical. I'm avoiding too much tech. I'm going to talk about some tech, but I don't want that to be the highlight because I have talked about tech jobs for a long time. You all know I have a technical recruiting background, so I'm done talking. I'm all tech jobs out. Like if you don't know to check out some tech jobs or get into that field if you have the interest, I'm done. I am done. You will not hear so much from me in regards to tech unless you're asking about different niche areas to be in tech. I will highlight a couple, but that's not the focus tonight. So things that you don't have to have an advanced degree. I also want to note that I'm not talking about medical stuff because we already know anesthesiologists, your surgeons, they make bank. So hey KB, shout out to my member. Welcome. How are you? And Miss Four Roller, hey, how are you? Okay, so this one I didn't even think of, an escalator installer. All you need is an apprenticeship and you can make, like, the median annual wage is $88,000 a year. And I didn't even think about that. Like, just think about New York, right? all of the skyscrapers, like most buildings in most cities, like yeah, they're gonna have an escalator, um, or they're gonna have like an elevator or something. So if you can get in that field installing either escalators, elevators, something of that sort, or working on them, being able to fix them, that's like, and you guys know I've been talking about robotics and stuff taking jobs. We're still gonna need people to fix these elevators. I complain sometimes because of my building. Occasionally, the elevator, one of the elevators is out, so it takes longer, and it's just like, oh, frustrating. But I never even thought about that. But your escalator installers, and I'm just going to include elevator installers in here, annual wage $88,000. This other one was interesting to me. And it makes sense because there's a lot of people buying crystals. If you've ever gone to a crystal shop, crystals are expensive, especially if you want to get the big ones. Or there are some massive crystals. There's some like, yeah, it's just massive. So there are some people that really like crystals, right? Either they want them because they look pretty, they want to bring some good energy into their environment. You know, there's books on crystals and what different crystals can do for you. I'm wearing rose quartz crystal right now. And there's also the healing aspect that people, you know, believe that there are different aspects of healing when you bring crystals into your home or into your different spaces. So there are people that study the composition of crystals, right? And they're called crystallographers. Crystallographers. And you would need a bachelor's degree. So a college degree, a lot of people are getting college degrees at this point, but you don't need much experience. You can literally get a degree and jump right into crystallography. What in the world? So you can literally study the composition of different crystals and get paid for it right out of college. And the median annual wage for this job is $93,000. Blows my mind, but I had to stop and think about it for myself and go, there are so many crystal shops. There's so much, like if you just search on YouTube, people are searching about crystals. There's all types of books on crystals and healing powers and this and that. And then you go into some of these stores and crystals are pricey. And so, yes, I can see that the people that can find these crystals come up with, you know, whatever method you need to do with a crystal and all this stuff. They're probably getting paid for it. So that's another one. This other one, I'm not going to say it on camera explicitly, but hopefully you'll get what I'm saying. You can become a master Mary Jane, if you know what Mary Jane stands for, extractor. So if you're into Mary Jane, I don't know what else you call Mary Jane. What else can you call Mary Jane? But if you like that industry, master Mary Jane extractor. You do need a degree, not specific to what kind of degree you will need, but a master marijuana, dang, I said it anyway. A master Mary Jane extractor is a position where you are actually producing the edibles, the oils. You're basically extracting the Mary Jane to put together all these different products that are booming right now. So they do say you need a degree in a related field to acquire this job. So I'm assuming you probably need some type of science degree, something in agriculture, maybe something of that realm. But you can start earning money right out of college too. So the national average salary on the high end is $84,000 to be a Mary Jane extractor. So that's another industry that's booming, especially if that becomes legal. Personally, that's not something I do. I am not even, I would say, 420 friendly just because I don't like smoke. I don't like the smell of it. However, just being realistic of the times right now, and it could happen. Thank you, Miss Barola. I appreciate that. Yes, please hit the like button if you're enjoying the content. I'm going to have to kind of chop this one up or edit it later. Okay, so I'm just checking out the comments. Thank you, Miss Barola. I appreciate you. All right, so the next one, and that was surprising to me too. I really hadn't thought about that one either, that you could make $84,000 to pull the stuff, put it, and get it to the point where it's either what, CBD oil, edible, whatever else you do. Okay, so the next one is a voiceover artist, and I've actually known some folks that have done voiceover work. I actually have done some voiceover work, but it's not what you would think. I basically got paid while I was in New York to say a bunch of different words, and it was for some car companies. So they were putting in like a Siri like function, like car companies like a Toyota, Audi. I don't remember what other brands, but they would have you say, hey Audie or whatever. Da 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 da. Hello Audie. Hi Audie. Hey Audie. And you would say it over and over again, and so I got paid for it. I just thought it was cool, and I tried it while I was living in New York, and I got paid for it. But voiceover artists can actually get paid. The national average is $62 per hour. And it's not like it's necessarily hard work, but you do need to make that your specialty. So you're going to have to like practice speaking from your diaphragm and having actual work, putting together like a portfolio of audio work, different sounds that you can do. It is a thriving industry. And if you think about it, we need more voiceover artists, especially when you're looking at a lot of virtual stuff, right? Cartoons, a lot of that. Well, who's gonna do the voiceover, right? And so you also need to think about the diversity. So if they want to demonstrate someone that is Black or Asian or Hispanic or this and that, or a woman or a man or whatever background from a certain country, they need that variety. So if you have a diverse set of skills and different voices you can portray, that could be a cool industry. So, especially if you have a very distinctive type of voice, or you can do different styles. I think that would make someone stand out, at least from what I looked at. I'm looking at some of my notes here. But yeah, a lot of production studios, they need the voiceover. I was even asked to do voiceover. Story time. Hey, Teddy, welcome in. So I was even asked to do some voiceover. I was working at a PR firm. Some of you might have heard this story. I was working at a PR firm. They were looking for a Black person's voice. They wanted to do some voiceover. The voiceover stuff they had, the client did not like. I will not say the client's name. And they were just going around the office trying to find Black people in the office to do some voiceover because they needed something quick. They were trying to get this deliverable done. And I was one of the people that were approached. I was basically told that I don't sound Black enough to do the voiceover, basically. The guy was like, could you say it a little bit more like this? And yeah, I was just talking how I normally talk. I go back to my to my office, and I messaged my friend, and who's still my friend, but we worked together at the time. And I was like, hey, because she was actually, so she was in the creative team. And I was like, hey, did you get asked to do some voiceover? Because I could see the visual of the woman. It was a Black woman, clearly. And I knew what was going on. They wanted a Black voice. And I'm like, I'm not going to fake a Black voice for you. I could. Could I have done it? Yes. But did I? No. Of course, I'm just going to be my normal, difficult self. This is just my voice. So it was just funny. I was like laughing on inside because I know he wanted to say, can you just sound Black? I know the guy wanted to say that. Can you just sound like this? No, this is my voice. Anyway, so she was also asked about doing some voiceover. And I mean, she sounds not ethnic. I can't say that she sounds ethnic. either. So they had a hard time. And it's just like, well, this is why you should hire more diverse people in your office. Oh, well. That's how we felt at the time, right? So anyway, all that to say, voiceover artists are very well needed, especially if you have, a very different type of voice. And you could make, again, national average is $62 per hour. So if you keep busy, keep consistent work, you can make a good amount of money. Uh, so Teddy says a Black person voice. Exactly. Like, can you just sound like this? No, sir. Wow, they wanted sassy soul sister Black. Exactly. And here's the thing. And I could see this in the Asian community too, because there's a stereotype of how Asian people sound, or specifically Chinese people sound. It's like, no, I mean, if you grow up in America, you're obviously going to have an American accent, most likely. But yeah, there's a stereotype of Black people and the voice. Like, how do we sound? Well, we don't all sound the same. Oh my goodness. Wow. I know I'm kind of getting off topic, but you guys know I like sharing stories with you guys of what's happening. But I relate to that a little bit. I do, because I was like, oh, if I ever want to get into voiceover, I could. And I have done it that one time. It wasn't really voiceover, but it was like they wanted a voice recognition type of thing. They were willing to pay for it. That's all I cared about at the time. I was like, this is cool. I want to try it out, and I'm getting paid for it. Why not? So it was a fun experience. Hey, Sharky FinTech, welcome. How are you? So I don't know if anyone else has done voiceover, but again, that's a good industry to go into. If you don't have a degree. You do not need a degree for this. Again, you can make some solid money doing it. But you do have to practice. You got to do voice exercise. You got to do all that stuff. So like singers, right? Like singers, they have to do that. If you're a voiceover artist, you got to protect your voice. All right. So the next one I'm going to talk about, you do need a degree and you also need a license. But I just think it's overlooked sometimes. Airline pilots, like aircraft, like all of these jobs, airline pilots, co-pilots, flight engineers, all of that, you can make some solid money. Now, commercial pilots make a little less. Median average pay for airline pilots, co-pilots, and flight engineers is $130,000. Commercial pilots, they're making about $93,000 on average. Again, on average, if you're in a lower cost of living place, you're probably making less. If you're in a higher cost of living place, you're probably making more than that, right? All right, so the next one, plumbers, electricians, and welders. And this one came to me, I couldn't find it on a list, but I know they pay well. And the reason I know is while I was working at Nestle, we had a hard time finding electricians, welders, these hard skills that everyone needs. If you have electrical, if you have a business, you need electrical. If you have a home, you need electrical. If you have a business, you need plumbing. If you have a home, you need plumbing. So you're in these different industries where you don't need a degree, but you do need to have a solid apprenticeship. You need that hard skill. And then after that, qualified plumbers, electricians, welders, they can easily make more than $100,000 a year after you finish that apprenticeship, though. So I just have to throw that one out there because I think it's overlooked. Everyone wants kind of the suit and tie thing, but these are in demand. And we've talked about it before on the channel that, kids we're not marketing to kids, hey, become a plumber, hey, become a welder, become an electrician. It's kind of looked down on in a way, but okay, if something breaks, who are you looking for? These are in-demand jobs. So if you don't like school, if you don't want to go to college, that is something to consider. If you're, good with your hands, if you can learn some nice hard skills. And I think for women and men, I think that's something too, is more of a stereotype that only men do these jobs. Women can do these jobs as well. There are certain programs even for women to get into some of these spaces. So just putting that out there because again, you can make over $100,000. I've talked about inflation on this channel. This is part of why I'm talking about this subject, because we need to make more money. Because why? Costs are going up, if you haven't noticed. All right, so I'm going to transition. I'm going to quickly walk through some of the tech jobs. I just want to highlight them only because I think they are important and they're going to lead up into my conversation. I want to talk about the metaverse. We got to talk about the metaverse. Okay. Information systems managers, all of these, you need a basic computer science degree. And even more important than that, you need the experience. Not every company is going to want a computer science degree or something related to that, info systems degree, whatever, engineering degree, something of the sort. But a lot of companies will. It will make it easier for you. Or you can go through some type of technical coding, boot camp, some type of program like that. Okay. Information systems managers, 150,000 is the median pay in the US. Architectural engineering managers, 149,000 is the median pay. Data scientist, we've talked about data scientists before. Median yearly salary in the US is 110,000, and that is starting out. Data scientists, like, you don't need a ton of experience to start making bank. That is something that is very in demand. Anything around data warehousing, data science, like, we have all this data, we don't know what to do with it. You can solve that problem for companies. They will pay you. Data engineers, 122,000 yearly salary. Machine learning engineers, something else I've talked about on the channel, 125,000 median yearly salary in the US. Again, we're talking about the US. Software engineers, which I think people are not talking about as much. Like, I don't know if people are bored with software engineering jobs and, software developers, but they can make over $100,000 as well. Full stack developers are making 108,000 median yearly salary in the US as well. Going outside of tech, well, actually, I have to talk about cybersecurity. I've talked about cybersecurity on this channel as well. Plenty of jobs in cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is even going to be needed in the metaverse. So we're going to have to protect. It's something I heard Mark Zuckerberg say today about privacy and protecting. And I'm like, yeah, we got to protect so many spaces. We're going to have to protect our data. It's crazy. And then moving to marketing. Marketing, promotions, managers, they can make money, but you need like a niche skill set. Advertising, you got to be in a good company. You're going to have some experience, but the median annual wage for advertising and promotions managers was $133,000. Definitely, if you're managing people, you're going to make more. So we already know if you're in a leadership role, you're going to make more. If you're managing budgets, you're going to make more. Managing portfolios, you're going to make more, right? You're definitely in that category of making more money. All right, so I have gone through the list. Let me look at some comments because I saw some folks come in here as I am chatting. What are you guys talking about? All right. Sharky says, that's one big but great sounding mic. Oh, well, as long as it sounds good. Sorry, product placement. I moved my desk over to another spot in my apartment, so I just needed to change it around, and so here we are. So had to place the mic right there. Thank you, Sharky. I appreciate the commentary on the mic. Thank you. King of Hill is saying, I'm considering one of those trades. Nice. We need you, King of Hill. We need Teddy to jump into one of these trades because they are in demand. Like, it's tough to even get people to want to do those jobs. And I'm just like, why? Getting paid by the hour? If I was of that type of, like, I was good with my hands and stuff like that, I'd probably do it. If I was really strong, maybe I'll get strong in my aerial arts classes, but, I don't see why not. Especially electricians. I think that's a cool one to get into. The trades are always good, Miss Burler says. Hey, Traveler Rashad, how are you? Welcome in. We kind of wrapped up our jobs. We talked about the annual pay. Now we're going to be talking about the metaverse. I just want to talk about what I was listening to earlier I want to know, have you all heard about the metaverse? Have you heard about the Facebook name change to Meta, and why? And did you listen to Mark Zuckerberg talk? I've listened to him like, no, 3 times because I was listening to him before I got on here. And I'm just like, I knew it was coming, but I'm just like cringing on the inside. But hey, Jaden, welcome in, Jaden. I would never force a kid of mine into college at this point. Slow clap there. I would agree. I wouldn't have said that 10 to 20 years ago. The present and future are wide open, and there's so many viable alternatives now. Definitely. I 100% agree. And there's a lot of companies that are saying, you know what, we don't need you to have a degree. We're going to say a degree or relatable experience, because honestly, that's what you need is experience. There's so many folks coming out of college and they're not getting hired because companies want the experience. Experience is really what's valued over the college. So it's, for folks that did go to college, it's a question of what did you do while you were there? It's not you just go to college, you get the piece of paper and you're set for life. No, you have to do a lot while you're in college. You have to make connections. You have to make these relationships with professors. You have to take on internship opportunities or graduate graduate program, assistant, something in the school, like get a job with the school. That's probably the easiest route to go. Just get a job with the school. That was the first thing I did. I found a job on campus, worked a job on campus, and that's how you start off when you're in school. That's what gets you to a point where you're getting experience. For anyone watching that is either in college or thinking about college, don't do college if you're just gonna go just to get the paper and that's it. You gotta put in work. More than just, studying hard, doing well, getting a nice GPA, you actually have to do some work. Unless maybe you're going to somewhere like Harvard. I feel like Harvard has a nice use. I feel like they have a nice trajectory. But maybe any other school. Okay, so let's move to the metaverse. So here's some of the things that were highlighted for me with the metaverse. I might pull up the video. I can't really play it, but Zuckerberg is talking about the metaverse. This is the video. I'm going to put it in the chat so that you all can check it out later. This is the video. And so let me see if I can just pull up so we can see it. But like it's a digital you. So it's a digital you. It almost reminds me of The Sims. My battery's about to die, so I need to close this out soon. But it almost reminds me of like Sims game where you have the virtual you, or like the gaming where it's you and you get to pick your clothes or whatever. They're creating a world in the digital space. And we already talked about some things like the digital humans, the virtual influencers, all of these things that are really pushing the merging of our real life into a fake world. So Zuckerberg mentioned the Horizon Home, where you're going to create your home. So you're going to be developing what your home looks like, right? It could be a duplicate kind of what you are in, or it could be different. And the way I see money being made in this metaverse are for the designers that can create these virtual components, the virtual clothing, the virtual furniture, the virtual this, the virtual that. They're going to be able to make money from it. A lot of, I think, artists are going to make money from it. It's just interesting because they're basically saying you're going to have the Horizon Home, going to have the Horizon World, where people can put together their own worlds and invite others into their spaces using just a headset. So you need your headset, you're in this virtual world. The other thing they talked about is this idea of a presence platform. So where you are, and they use the example of work. So no, people are wanting to work remotely. Well, you're going to be able to holographically basically be in the office without being in the office. So people feel like you're there, the presence is there, but you're not really there. You're wearing a headset. It's really interesting. Let me know what you all think about that. Is that something that you would like? Because it's more of alternate reality, augmented reality, holograms, all of this kind of in the same space. And it's replicating Facebook in a way. Because instead of a profile picture, you have your avatar. That's you. So they're replicating, visually your hands and your your facial gestures and all of this. I personally think that whoever wins this game, because I know Microsoft is in it, I know Google is in it, they're all trying to do the augmented reality and get the metaverse. I think that as a part of that, if you are an avatar, I think they're also going to be getting data and figuring out more about how we as humans in a virtual space react, so that these virtual humans, we talked about virtual humans before, right? So that they are better able to be like us. Because we talked about that. I really do think they're going to be able to get data as we're in this metaverse. Like, we're talking about Facebook here. They're going to be getting some data. So we'll be in this virtual space doing all of what we're doing. And they're going to be able to think, oh, this is how this person moves their fingers. Because the hands, we talked about the hands in another video about the robotics. It's kind of a phenomenon that with the robotics, it's really difficult. Like if you have to put pegs in put things in a certain slot by using your fingers or grabbing onto something and twisting something. We can do that, but they're not quite there, or at least the last I checked, which was 3 months ago maybe, they're not quite there with the technology where robots can completely take over, like in the factories, for example. So I talked about the digital factories. So they can't completely just take over yet, because who's going to do the things where we need people with fingers? They don't have fingers, right? They can't move super fast like we can. They can't be doing all this what I'm doing in this video. So I think they're going to want to try to replicate a lot of what our movements are naturally to help these virtual humans seem more natural, seem more human, because that is a part of their mission statement, right? So it's very interesting, I think. At least I think. I don't know. I gotta hear from you all. But let me look at this too. So like we talked about the virtual humans, right? These influencers, they're talking about the metaverse. What is Hollow Earth? Hollow Lives' ambitious plan to bridge VTubers to the metaverse, right? Interviews, news, research are kind of highlighting Lil Michaela. We talked about Lil Michaela before. She's got like how many millions of followers? And these are some of the other virtual folks. We got FN, Mika the rapper. And now we're going to be going into the metaverse. So we're all mixing up together. The real humans and the virtual humans all together. Is that not a little bit scary? Is that a little bit scary? I don't know. I think it might be. Sharky says the meta thing is definitely interesting. I think it will likely tie in with Facebook starting their own cryptocurrency. So Zuckerberg did mention cryptocurrency and NFTs as well. Yes, Google has the VR goggles as well. Oh, I see what you're saying. Instagram, WhatsApp, all Facebook on. Yes, that is true. That is true. What was I gonna say about that? I just lost my train of thought. There's something that he mentioned earlier that kind of caught my attention, but it was really, so Zuckerberg was saying, it's the new mobile internet. So this is kind of going to be the real, not immediately, like same with cryptocurrency, 5-10 years down the line. But gosh, So he mentioned they're spending billions of dollars into this industry. And again, I think the opportunity is going to be designing. Well, I have to pay for an outfit. So I'm in the space. Let's say I want to go on a date with who's in here? Sharky, you're on here right now. I don't see Teddy anymore. I was gonna pick Teddy, but I don't see Teddy. So Sharky, I'm gonna go on a date with you, right? Well, you're in Austria. I don't know. You're in Austria and I'm in Texas right now. So how are we gonna go on this date? We can go in the metaverse. And so now I gotta figure out I'm in a metaverse. Oh, wait, I need another outfit. Oh, I'm just gonna buy this dress. Okay. And then we're on a date. And I'm like, oh, well, let's see a movie. We pay for the movie. We're paying for the movie because we're actually going to watch the movie. And we're going to be together, right? Presence, what they mentioned, the presence platform, right? So it's like almost as if I'm there, you're there, and we're just watching the movie. Oh, but we need popcorn. I pay for the popcorn in our metaverse. I'm just like, oh man. So that's what I think is going to be the moneymaker because it's almost like if you think about gaming. Well, in gaming, you make money. Let's say I play a game where there was this Kim Kardashian game a while back where you had to create a store and you pay and whatever. So I did that for a little bit and I was like, oh, this is silly. So this is like, I don't know, 4 years ago or something. So you want different outfits. So you're going to have a virtual closet, your virtual home. They talk about the Horizon Home, Horizon World. You can put your whole world together. I don't know if that might cost money. You know how with games, if you want to put this together, oh, you can get this one free, but if you want this really nice one, you got to pay some money for it. That is going to be a moneymaker, big moneymaker. And then the workplace stuff where you can be at work without physically being at work through a hologram. My goodness. So augmented reality, to tie this back to my original conversation, augmented reality, alternate reality, everything in that space, definitely a growing industry. I don't know how much the pay will be, but I do think it will be in demand. So I imagine you could be making over 100,000 as well, really lining up with a lot of those other tech jobs, as well as design, UX design. I think those will all be really important because we have to have a user experience that's really nice, right? If it's supposed to be seamlessly like home, or I can go into my bubble and be in some world that's completely my vision of beauty, well, it has to be a very seamless, beautiful user experience too. It is really interesting. Almost scary, but that it's, oh, man. We've talked about it, but it's like, oh, why? Why? Can you just wait? Can you just wait like 5 years? I'm not ready. I'm not ready yet. Hey, Fire Squad, how are you? Hopefully you're doing well. Have you heard about the metaverse? How do you feel about it if you have heard about the metaverse? Everyone's saying hi to each other. Sharky says, you're incredible and amazing, but I'm only paying for all of that if we go on a real date. I know, that's what I'm saying. I'm with you, Sharky. It seems really strange, right? You're in this virtual world and you're paying for things as if they're real experiences and they're supposed to seem like real experience. I imagine, I haven't been in there, I haven't used the goggles, but I can only imagine. I have used some of the tools online where you want to buy like a table, right? You want to buy this table and now you can virtually see it in your home. So they're mixing up with the augmented reality and virtual reality in different ways. So they're saying with this, you can bring items into your virtual world. So if I have a book, oh, my books are over there. If I have a book, I can bring that into the virtual reality with me. My movies, like anyone owns movies. People own movies. We don't really own anything, right? We use Netflix. But if you own movies, you own DVDs, you own CDs or something, you can bring that with you. because it can be recreated in the digital world. And they're merging, they mentioned, so you're at work, right? And you're in the virtual space, but you at the same time you can look down at your desk and see that, oh, I have a pen here and I'm going to use that to write and I can see what I'm writing. So it's like the blending of virtual and reality. So a mixed reality. It's just like he was talking and he's just like blowing my mind. I'm just like, why are you doing this to us? That's how I felt. That's really how I felt. So avatar in place of a profile pic in terms of Facebook, virtual clothing, you're teleporting because you can create, again, Horizon Home, Horizon World, you can create these different spaces. So you can move yourself to, oh, I want to be with friends now. Actually, no, I just want to be in my own bubble now. I'm going to go off in my little bubble and there's a sea right there and this is my space. You can also block people. If you don't want people around, you can just bubble, you're blocked. Just like Facebook, you block people, right? In your virtual world. It is. But anyway, I did want to pull this up. Let me see if I can find it. I wanted to talk about this as well. And my battery's going to die, so I'm going to have to end it. I'm going to have to peace out with you all soon. Okay, so where's this article? Because I was looking up, I was trying to figure out, okay, with the metaverse, what does this mean for us? Like realistically, what does it mean for us? If I can find it. I may not be able to find it, so I may have to follow up in another video, guys. However, there is a list somewhere where there are highlighted jobs that are going to be needed because of the metaverse. So we're going to have to start thinking about that. Hold me to it. Like if I do not post a video like in the next 2 weeks, ask me about it. We got to stay on top of this so we can keep the conversation happening and we can stay ahead of some of this stuff. Oh, okay, here it is. This is the article. I'm going to link this in the chat. I'm linking this in the chat. We can look at it together too, but let me note a few things in here. So the in-demand jobs that blvckpixel.com is saying, it's your innovation partner. They're saying new jobs in the metaverse, the jobs we don't know about yet. Metaverse explodes. So the first one they're listing is digital fashion designer, which we talked about, because who's going to design this cloak? Oh my gosh, you know what? Gucci, all these brands that people want, if we're going to be in the metaverse, if we're going to have if we're going to have an avatar of ourselves in an office, people are going to be all kind of decked out. You only pay a portion of the price and you can look, oh my gosh, is that not brilliant? Like we're going to have designers in this metaverse and they're going to have to build digital fashion. Oh my, this is crazy. So we're going to be because our avatar would represent us. So then in that case, I don't have to pay the real cost because it's not like I'm going to a Gucci store and paying money, but I am going to have to pay something if I want to wear this whatever designer outfit. I could see people doing that, especially since you guys know Dallas. I could definitely I can see people doing that. A meta-human doctor. So all of our biometric and physiological data will be digitized and contained in our meta-human avatars, especially those related to our health conditions. I honestly think they're going to want to pull data from us. I think they're going to use our data. I really do. A metaverse tour guide, construct architect, which goes back to the point about the world, the digital world, or what we're called Horizon World, where you can create your own. I was thinking that too earlier when he mentioned that, because I'm like, well, who's going to create all these things? Because when they were showing in the video, it reminded me of coding. Because you guys know I studied coding for a little bit and I hated it. Didn't hate it. I just didn't like the troubleshooting part of it. I liked the building part of it. I didn't like the troubleshooting. So it reminded me of those, logical things where it's like, if not this, then this, and then you build onto it. Or there was this like game that I would play. It was like in our initial class just to get us thinking in a certain way. So we would build blocks together, and that's how we would build real things on the computer. And so it was kind of like that, where you were building. I'm like, who's going to want to do that? Well, construct architects or whoever's going to create these different worlds. So you can just, instead of me creating a world, I can just pick one, or maybe someone can create it for me. I want it to be this, I want it to look like that, because we're having Horizon Home, we're having a Horizon World, we're having a Horizon, I don't know, office. So who's going to construct all of this and make it look exactly like this, a replica? It's really interesting. Artifact chaser, that's interesting. So it says in the gaming world, players are familiar with the term artifact. It designates a magical object which possesses or gives its owner particular rare and unprecedented powers. For example, it can be a mechanism that can freeze, accelerate, slow down time. It can be kind of an invisible cloak or any other object allowing to modify an element or component of the metaverse itself. Interesting. So that gaming aspect. Smart contract lawyer. Interesting. There will be no point running to your regular attorney when you're about to close a deal in the metaverse, because we're going to be working in the metaverse. So people are going to be doing real life, real closing deals. You guys, so I'm going to be talking to candidates in the metaverse. That's what I'm seeing. If my job is there, like in 5 or 10 years. Okay, that's interesting. Data bounty hunter is the next one. So I'm going to have to dig into these. Digital asset executor, metaverse event director, which I get, because if you're going to have all these different worlds, of course you're going to want to have a tour guide or someone to be like, and over here, this is where you can do this. And you got to get people caught onto it, I guess. It reminds me of that show on Amazon. What was it called? This guy had passed away and they put his consciousness into a digital him, and it was like the real world. And so he could, this is why I say the stuff that we're watching on television, we're manifesting it. It's going to happen. We're already planning it. There's a reason it's on television right now. It's already happening, or it's about to happen. But it was basically, it was called Upload. Upload was the show on Amazon. And so this guy had passed away. He's a really handsome actor, by the way. I don't know who the actor's name was, but he's pretty handsome. The girl in the metaverse, I guess, was really nice looking too. It had some nice looking people on the show. Anyway, it's on Amazon Prime. But he passed away and his consciousness was put into a digital body. And so he was in this digital space, but it all seemed real. And he was still able to interact with his girlfriend who had actually did that to him. I think if I was dating someone, I would just have to let it go. Like, it's just got to let it go. I'm not putting you into some digital thing, and it's just weird. Just going to let you rest, okay? But she didn't want to do that. She said she's got money. We're going to put you into this digital metaverse, and we're still going to be together, even in this weird, awkward way. So that's what it reminds me of. So those are the jobs that they were talking about in this article. Did I copy it in the chat? What do you all think? I gotta get some feedback before I get off here. Thank you, Sharky. Yes, please do hit that like button. Hey, just that Shar. What do you think about this? This is the article I'm talking about right here. That's what we're doing right now, the metaverse. So anyway, let me know what you think. Feel free to comment after this video goes up. I am at my max. I've been on here for about 50 minutes, so I'm going to get off. Hope you enjoyed the content. Hope you enjoyed chatting with me tonight. Mine is blown. Okay. Well, guys, I will see you later. So have a good night, people. Bye.